So if we find what we need now. Right then, let's get cracking. Week 2 is starting. So a lot of this week is going to be about the dissection and the review of last week and how you got on. Okay, so got a full week under our belts, and we want to use this today as an exercise in how we can critically look at the details and the important things in last week, and more importantly, is look at lessons and learnings as we move forwards. So, right, so at this point, when you look at your review of your week, it's a case of not burying your head in the sand. Now, if you bury your head in the sand and you, let's say, are a bit vague with the truth, let's just say you just tick in, yes, 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 I got to bed on time every night, perfect, I hit my water, perfect, and all the rest of it. That looks great if you're putting it in the group and portraying that to everybody, but depends is that, sorry, need to find my cursor to let Lisa in. So going back to that, yeah, so don't bury your head in the sand, make sure you're being honest with everything, and then we can actually make progress. So on your sheets that I looked through, your review forms, I asked you some questions. The first one were, what went well? And when I've looked at everyone's answers to that, some of you had the struggles that are so common. One of them being, things were great. I got to the weekend and then the wheels came off. I didn't plan what I'm going to have. I drank too much. And these are the common things. People create a calorie deficit Monday to Thursday and undo all that work with a massive calorie surplus Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, bearing in mind how easy it is with high calorie dense foods to go massively over on calories. So if you go out and you actually look at menus when you go out to eat and you look at the actual calorie content as an example of foods when you go out. So I went out for a Father's Day lunch on Sunday and I had a roast beef dinner, and people think straight away, oh, roast beef dinner, it's got vegetables, super healthy. But when the devil is in the detail, you look on calories on the menu and you see it's 1,290 calories. And you're thinking you're having a 700 calorie meal. On a weekend, even when you think you're eating healthy, sometimes you've got to factor these numbers into your weekly. Because bear in mind this, let's just say you have a 2,000 calorie goal per day. That means your spend, if you want to look at it that way, is 14,000 calories a week. Now, if you're suddenly doing 4,000 calories on a Saturday, which, believe it or not, is very easy to do. If you actually add up, if you go out and you're eating out and you're having drinks and things like that, not saying you'd ever have a takeaway at the end of the night as well, that's a 2,000 calorie pizza. Getting 4,000 calories in on a Saturday is so easy. To compensate for that 2,000 calorie surplus on a Saturday, you've got to be in a mega deficit across a week if you're going to plan in for 4,000 calories on a Saturday. So this is where you might be quite strict during the week. Your training goes well, you get everything right, but you get to a weekend and you go, I can't understand why I've lost weight. I've been in a deficit Monday to Thursday. It's because of what you do on a weekend. So a bit of planning on a weekend goes a long, long way. So if you're going out to eat somewhere, kind of thinking in advance, what am I going to order off the menu? Look online at their menu, see if they actually have, so you can plan in and think about what calories. If it doesn't show it on the website, if you look at it, you can have a pretty good guess at the calorie content of that meal. So that's one thing on a weekend, looking at your scores on the doors. What did you learn? Again, some good answers, some very honest answers from some of you. We're going to dive into it individually after this anyway and have a look. And what will you do different this week? That's the key thing. We have the autopsy on a Sunday night. We'll look at the week and we think about what went well and what didn't. And then it's that moment of, okay, being honest with yourself, what could I have done better? Was it meal preps? Because a lot of people put, I just didn't quite prepare things. So, which led me down the path of making decisions which didn't necessarily take me on the path I want. So, actually, time and effort to prepare and think about what you're going to eat was a consistent theme for lots of you. Okay. Again, when you get to a Sunday and you look back at your score and you look back at your step counts, did I hit them? Yes or no? Sleep, did I hit them? Yes or no? Calories, protein. It's like a compound effect. You know the famous story about if you start playing golf and at hole number one, you say, let's play for a penny. And you say, let's double for every hole. So the compound effect, you're playing for 2 pence, hole number two, 4 pence, 18, 16, 32, 6. The compound effect starts off and it suddenly starts doing that. That is what happens long term when you track these important metrics. Now, you might think your step count doesn't matter. You might think your sleep doesn't matter because it's minor. But the minor things have a compound effect long term. Skipping workouts. I had a one-to-one conversation with a client the other day online like this. What we talked about was sleep. This person is getting lots of things right, but sleep is a jigsaw puzzle we're trying to solve, and we're really trying to dial into sleep. What the analogy I used with this person was this. I said, listen, if you get your sleep right, let's just say 6 days out of 7, that means you're going to have more energy 6 days out of 7, which means you go on the walks because you feel energized. You're not feeling knackered. You're not going to skip gym sessions because you feel knackered. So the sleep has the domino effect to your steps. It has the domino effect to skipping workouts. So when I'm on about that compound effect like that, the sleep means, oh, I get more workouts in, I get more steps in. Oh, I'm not as hungry, so I don't snack. So sleep, the compound effect is the knock-on is to everything else. So that's the reason I'm getting you to track sleep, steps, hydration, because these all allow you to perform in your workouts and perform when it comes to controlling snacking and hunger. Make sense? I know at this point in time, week 1 and week 2, I sound like a broken record, but I've got to get through how important these things are. And I don't want to gloss over and look for the sexy stuff. The night, what's this fancy exercise? When half of the time getting these things right means, you're building on solid foundations. If you build a beautiful house on not solid foundation and the house falls in, that's the equivalent of this. So getting the basics and the foundations right is absolutely critical long-term for you. Daily micro decisions affect the direction of your life and your health. All the little things you do, the decisions about the foods you eat, oh, should I get the dessert? Should I get this? They become your habits. If you don't keep the promises you make to yourself, you become that person who breaks promises to yourself. That affects your self-esteem. Your self-esteem affects your confidence, and it affects how you show up in the world, at work, in your relationships, and in the mirror to yourself, more importantly. Because let's be honest, you need to like who you see in a mirror. That person who looks back at you, you need to think, yeah, I am somebody who does what I say I'm going to do. I am somebody who shows up. I am somebody who, if I say I'm going to the gym, I do it. I'm not full of excuses. So this is about changing how you think about yourself, so you act differently day in, day out. You are the kind of person that doesn't skip. I'm the kind of person that sticks to my diet. I'm the kind of person that has a pint of water when I wake up. I'm the kind of person who goes a walk before bed rather than snacking and watching Netflix. Yeah, I go a 20-minute walk. This is what it's about. It's about changing your identity, who you are, by the micro decisions you make every day. Your beliefs control everything. The stories you tell yourself, which ultimately become your beliefs, control everything about your life. So if you think about your beliefs are like the legs underneath a table. They prop up certain things. So when you want to change your belief, it's like kicking the legs out from under the table and getting rid of them, or it's putting new legs under the table, which are new beliefs to prop up the table. Now, we're going to do a bit on this tonight, as well as reviewing last week. So we're going to do an exercise on this next. But first of all, Andrew, because you volunteered before we started, we're going to go through your week last week. So a live review of your week. So, Andy, over to you. What was the 3 things that were a success for you last week? Are you on mute?
Yeah, sorry, you've gone small. I don't know how to get you back big.
I can see you.
There we
So,
are.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah. So, what were the 3 things that went well for you last week, Andy?
you. Sort of turning up, firstly, sort of not going in all guns blazing as I'd like to do, sort of not being disheartened if I don't achieve what I wanted to achieve, rather than just sort of either jumping up scales, not seeing a result, or just feeling a bit downhearted. Like for me, I planned Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for workout, but I knew that I couldn't do one Wednesday because I was starting work early, so I went for a run on Tuesday night instead, rather than doing a workout on Wednesday. So I had my sort of break on Wednesday, then I'd done Thursday and Friday, in the gym, and then I'd done a run on Saturday to sort of account for an extra day. So
Yeah.
just having that mindset of minimum getting 4 sessions in for week. So
Okay. So I've wrote down when I've listened to you there, Andy. I've wrote down 3 words. I've put 1, structure.
yeah,
I put 2, planning, and I put 3, boundaries. So what you've done there is it sounds, because obviously knowing you, Andy, I know that I don't want to break any confidences, but you're a bit like a light switch, aren't you? All or nothing.
yeah.
And you having a structure is essential for you. And I think
Yeah.
like you said there, you straight away, you use that structure, you set then out a plan, and you set yourself boundaries because you said, listen, I know I can't get in Wednesday, so I'm going to do a run on a Tuesday. I know I've got other things on, so these are my days. You set yourself boundaries, you set yourself a plan, and you had structure. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 3 wins there because I think the week before, would you have said you had structure, planning, and boundaries?
No, none of them. Like I'd wake up, look at mirror, and think you need to get yourself sorted. But then I'd just go to work and probably eat a Greggs up way to work, have a McDonald's for dinner, and then have whatever for tea. And I think, well, what's the point now? It's damage is done. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
sort of the mindset. And then I'd get stressed because I'm putting on weight, but then because I'm putting on weight, well, you get stressed again. So you then eat shit to try and make yourself feel better.
yeah,
You just end up in that vicious circle.
yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty much about 80% of the population, Andy, that cycle. And it's like we said, it's the structure, the planning, the boundaries to sort of free yourself from it and feel like you have a little bit of control back.
Yeah.
you don't feel like you're a leaf blowing in the wind to food, or you feel like, oh, actually, yeah, I've got this now. I know what I'm doing. I know what I need to do. I'm going to plan around it and make sure I implement it and make sure it's done. So that's 3 wins. Well done. What what didn't go so well last week?
I'd say sort of yeah towards back end of week, maybe because we were going away to Primrose Valley to a caravan. That meal prep couldn't have been. I could have took stuff like healthier snacks,
Yeah,
or just yeah, like or it's hard to plan healthier meals when you're in a caravan, but especially when you're out all day. But it's it's trying to then get your proteins into, I could have took protein shake, I could have had that for lunch or something like that to fill me up. Um, but yeah, it's sort of a bit of self-control sort of went out a window. But then again, being on this, it did control me at the same time. So I didn't go as mad as you normally would when you go to a seaside, have hot donuts and fish and chips and everything else. It won't. He did have that stuff, but it were in more moderation rather than I've 1 or 2 rather than 5 or 6. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it
yeah.
was just having that sort of self control, knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, I think it's like you said there, the regulation of I can have one donut, I don't have to have the full pack.
Yeah, yeah.
I can go out and I can have a pint, I don't have to have 9. It's just being aware, blissfully aware that you can have anything you want. It's the devil usually is in the quantities.
Hmm.
And if you've eaten quite healthily most of the time, yeah, of course you can have some chocolate, you can have a bit of a donut, you can have a couple of beers, you can have these things. It's just don't let one beer become 10 beers, become 12 beers, becomes a Domino's pizza, becomes and it spirals out of control. Okay, and what lessons have you said to yourself you're going to implement this week?
Going from sort of last week with training and stuff, we're going to try get more training sessions in. Try get more um, like daily steps in, just to try get a bit more than that 10,000, and then sort of try be a bit more rather than be there or thereabouts my calories. Try get a bit less,
Andy,
because I want
Andy, let me stop you. Let me stop you. I just want you to repeat everything you've just said, but I'm going to ban the word try.
well.
So you're going to say it all again, but you're not going to be allowed to say the word try. What you're going to say is, I'm going to. Okay, just say it all again.
So this week I'm going to up my step goal to get over more than 10,000.
Good.
I'm gonna get to the gym or do like some sort of fitness at least once a day for rest at week.
Yeah.
Um, and and that's about it. And then with like calories, make sure that they're there or thereabouts correct. You know, try and get a little bit less just because I
Wow.
want to be a
You
bit
said the
more of a
word. You
deficit.
said the word try.
I owe you a forfeit.
Shocking. Shocking, sir. Shocking. Right. Yeah. Okay. Good man. Good man. So you've looked at what's been the wins. We've gone through like the weekend and a bit of planning and maybe carrying protein bars, some like healthier yogurts, having some fruits, snacks that you could have in a caravan. Do you know what I mean? And then also as well, you say what you're going to do, not what you're going to try to do.
Yeah.
Good, good. Okay. So the reason I did that at the end there is coming on to beliefs control everything. Your identity is paramount when it comes to change. So somebody who tries to do something, if I try to open a door, it means I'm not going to open it. If I say I'm going to open that door, I'm speaking with conviction that and congruence that no one's stopping me. That's what I'm doing. Whereas if I'm going to try and open that door, what I'm there is I'm on the fence. I'm like, should I not? So your language is important. So all of you, when we look at beliefs and we look at our identity, as we're shaping these and we fine tune it over the next few weeks, which is what we're going to try and do with you. Do you see I said the word try? See if you're listening.
Yeah.
We are going to do. Yeah, we're going to fine tune this with you. So identity habits, we're going to ingrain this into who you are. So you're going to be somebody who goes to the gym. That's who I am. I eat healthy. I do what I say. I get up when I say I'm going to do. I don't lie in and miss my walk. I don't lie in and miss the gym. I get up when I say I'm going to get up. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And become that kind of person who's a doer, not one of these, well, you're going to do it. All right. If we believe we can or we can't, we always prove ourselves right. If we believe we can or we can't, we will always prove ourselves right. Your reticular activating system in your brain always looks for ways to prove you right. So if you're the kind of person who says, well, I always fall off the wagon. I always, you will find ways to make that a reality. Language and how you talk to yourself is very important. Okay. So when we say things subconsciously, we then act out upon what we say. So if we are on the fence, or if we are, oh, it gets to a weekend and I always do that. Well, you will always do that. If you are someone who says things that flies in the face and goes in the opposite direction to where you're wanting to go, you will keep sabotaging yourself all the time because our brain is immensely powerful at doing that. So be very intentional about your language. So when I work with clients, I listen to the words they say. And I try, joking, I don't try, I do, to knock it out of them because I make them aware when they use language that doesn't support them and where they want to go, whether that's business, relationships, fitness, whatever it may be. We always look at the patterns of language they use and try and change it and always change it. Okay. Next little exercise here. I want you to write out 5 things. And again, be honest. You don't have to tell me what they are. It's about you and your development. Write out 5 things about yourself that you say, oh, I always quit. I always gain weight. I don't stick at things. My family always gains weight easily. I look at a cake and I put a pound on. So think about things that you've always said, and you'll some of these will come off the top of your head. You'll know them straight away, but then you might have to think about a couple more. I always quit at things. This always happens to me. People like me don't get in shape. I've always been big boned. I've heard all the classics, trust me. People in my family can't lose weight. I just can't drink enough water. And then you see them down in 9 pints later on at the pub. Can't drink 2 pints, 2 litres of water a day, but they can sip 9 pints in 4 hours at the pub.
Oh, God. Funny.
Yeah. Everyone got some stuff there yet? Good. Don't worry if it's not 5 things. You might have wrote 4, you might have wrote 6. But it's about looking at the things you always say to yourself doesn't support you. You might have 10. You might have 10 things you can always say. Why do I always bloody snack? Why do I always do the, oh, what? Why? Write them down so you can't think of any more. All right, ready to move on? Next exercise. So draw a line under that. Think about this. If you knew you couldn't fail, if you were going to be super healthy, super on it, get up on time, your water's dialed in, your diet's dialed in, you get to the gym. It's just who you are. Write out 5 things you would say if you talked about yourself. If you were that person who's got it, this is happening. It's like night and day. It's happening to you. You know what I mean? You are that person. You don't make excuses. You're not full of shit. You turn up, you get it done, you get your walks in, you get your steps in, your meals, it's dialed in. Your lunches are always on point. If you take them to work with you, you've always prepared. This is who you are now. Write down the sort of things you would say. I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm in charge of my life. I'm steering this ship. No one takes me off course. I'm steering the bus here. I'm fit. I'm healthy. I look after my body. Why would I do that? I'm in complete control of my life. No one tells me what to eat. I eat what I want. I don't bow to peer pressure. I'm in charge. Think about the kind of things you would say out loud. Think about what you would say to yourself in the mirror. If you are on that path to being the person you want to be, who's in control, who's steering the bus, who's strong, who's in control of their own mind, who does what they say they're going to do. Write it in your language as if you would say it. You might not say it in the way I've just said it. In fact, I hope you don't, because you'd probably be like a psycho if you did. So, all right. So you've got some things there. Don't worry if it's not 5. I just wrote down 5 beliefs. You might have 7. You might have 10. You might have 4. All right. And these are the kind of things, and this is how you need to start speaking. When you catch yourself going, oh, why have I done it again? You've got to stop yourself and start talking like the person you are on the path to becoming. You know, strong statements, not weak statements. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is me now. The person I am now eats on plan. And if you do that most of the year, you can have nights out. Because over 350 days a year, trust me, you can have plenty of days off plan, as long as you are on plan the vast majority. We talk about the 80-20 rule, about being on plan 80% of the time and off plan 20. Until you get nearer to your goal, I would say to you, being brutally honest, having seen people make great changes over the years, that needs to be more 90-10. And when you get very close to how you want to be, you can relax it more to 80-20. If you're somebody who's way off track of where you want to be, 80-20, it's going to take you a long, long time to get where you want to be. So I would say to you, being brutally honest, it needs to be more 90% on plan and 10% off. Yeah. When you get down to your target weight, your target jean size, your target dress size, you're wearing the t-shirts you want to wear and everything like that, you can then be going across to 90-10, not 80-20. Sorry, over to 80-20 at that point. Okay. And I'm just being honest. Because if you're somebody who's got a long way to go, for example, and you give yourself a full weekend off plan, you're not going to get there quick enough, and you're going to lose some of that momentum because you're not going to see the results quick enough. So yes, if you want to go out Saturday night, have a nice curry, you know, a couple of pints with curry Saturday night, and you might want to have a little treat on a Sunday. But if you're having a fry up on a Sunday, a big Sunday lunch, and a few beers on a Sunday night, and you've been out Saturday night, you ain't going to get the results you want. And that's me just being honest with you. Allow yourself planned in. Again, the key word is planned in, meals off plan. But plan them in so you feel in control. Yeah. If you're going out Sunday, you're going out Saturday, you're going out Friday night, plan it in, think what you're going to have and factor it all in. If I'm going out Friday night, what exercise am I doing Saturday? So I've gone over my calories on Friday, I'm going to have to rein it in Saturday and increase that exercise a little bit just to counteract. So that 14,000 calories or whatever it is over 7 days, I come in Sunday on target. All right. Right. So moving, they were the slides for this week. So I didn't want death by PowerPoint this week. I wanted it to be conversational. All right. So going on from beliefs. So identity, them things there, I am, I do, I'm going to, I will. They're affirmative, strong words. This week, I want you to talk like that. And when you're looking at your week this week, I want everything to be, I'm going to, I will, I am the person who turns up at the gym 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever's in your plan. Okay. So that's how I want you to sort of dial that in this week. And we're going to build and layer on all these habits as we go week by week by week and add and fine tune and learn. Okay. So when we look at identity on the last point I'm going to make on that before we go through some Q&A from last week. Think about this. People who become marathon runners start by walking around the block. They then walk a bit, jog a bit. They might jog to the next lamppost, walk 2 lampposts, and then eventually they might jog 2 lampposts, walk 1 lamppost. And then eventually, oh, I can run continuously, even at a slow pace. They do that by becoming the person who runs. I am a person who runs. That becomes their identity and ingrained in them. I am somebody who brushes my teeth. I am somebody who has a shower. Because then it becomes your identity and you do it without thinking. When it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to going to the gym, when it comes to getting to bed on time, you need to become that person. I am somebody who goes to bed on time. I am somebody who gets up at 7 a.m. I am somebody who gets up at 6 a.m. I am somebody who goes a walk after each meal, even if it's for 10 minutes to help digestion. But in the process, I'm also getting my steps in. I worked with a client a while ago who struggled with a step count. So what we did was we looked at the simple act of going a 10-minute walk after every meal. So all I said is, on your Apple Watch, set your stopwatch for 5 minutes. And I want you to walk 5 minutes from your desk at work. It might be out of the office, around the square, and then back around for 5 minutes. So it was a 10-minute walk after lunch. I said, if you're having breakfast, 10-minute walk before you get in your car to go to work. On an evening, after your evening meal, 10 minutes. So go out 5 minutes on the estate where you live, 5 minutes back. I said, and then I want you to do a 10-minute walk before bed. Not exactly before you go to bed, but in the hour and a half before bed, 10 minutes. So what we did with that person was we got 40 minutes of walking in by doing micro 10-minute walks across a day. Because what they were saying was, oh, I haven't got time to do a 40-minute or an hour's walk. But what they did have was time to do a 40-minute walk, but spaced out across 4 10-minute walks. But I said to this lady, I said, listen, Become the kind of person who walks after a meal. So now that identity-wise, whenever she eats a meal, within 5 minutes, she'll go walk because it is who she is. And I said, if you can't get out of the office on your lunchtime, walk along out of the office, go up the flights of stairs, back down, down another flight of stairs, and just do 5 minutes without even leaving the office if it's pissing it down with rain. But she's still got the 10-minute walking after lunch. So these are simple ways of becoming that I am somebody who walks. I am somebody who plans their meals. And it's becoming that person, because then it doesn't become an effort, because it becomes habitual, automatic, and subconsciously something that you just do because it's who you are. So the things you've struggled with last week, this week, identity-wise and belief-wise, how can you put those right? If it was meal prep for you, how can you become, I am the kind of person who prepares? It's who I am. 8:30 on a night, I plan my meals for tomorrow. What have I got in my fridge? Oh, I've got some yogurt. Right, taking that to work tomorrow. Yogurt, tick. Apple, I'm taking that. I've got some cooked chicken there, tick. Protein, taking that. I've got a protein bar in the cupboard, tick, I'm taking that. So you kind of know I'm that kind of person who does that tick sheet the night before to plan tomorrow. Doesn't have to be complicated. Simple gets done. And if it gets done, it gets you results and you repeat the behavior all the time. Becomes a loop. You talked about the loop earlier, Andy, of, one thing leads to another. Well, this is that. We do simple actions, it yields results, and we repeat them. Micro decisions all the time. Identity, it becomes who we are. We then rinse and repeat it all the time, and we change who we are over 12 weeks, 18 weeks, 6 months, and a year. That's how change happens. All right. Okay, so Q&A now. So any of you want to ask me any questions, feel free. Anyone got anything?
I've got a quick question.
From it.
So let's say you plan on, just for a round number, of like say 2,000 calories per day,
Yes.
and you're going in a calorie deficit of 200 calories of that. But let's say each day you've got the gym and you've burned 500 calories. Would you, obviously over the course of the week, you pay 1,400 calories down, like as a surplus, but would you add in the 500 calories from your workout, or sort of would you just cancel that out and forget about anything that you work out as a, like burn off as a workout?
Well, go back to the start when, like, in the sequence I've got where it works out your calories based on your current sort of, are you desk job based, are you manual, that kind of thing, what kind of steps you do currently. And when you've put in, like, you want either a moderate fat loss, aggressive fat loss, or whatever you've put in there, that's worked out the calories you kind of need to do and hit every day. Now, that's based on your current activity levels you've put in.
Yep.
So let's just say you now, Andy, for example, let's just say for you, again, round number. Let's just say maintenance for you is 2,000. So let's just say you taking 2,000 a day, that's going to maintain your current body weight, right?
Yep.
And that's sort of balancing out your current activity. Now, if we create a deficit of food alone, let's say, so let's say we then create a 400 calorie deficit a day. So let's say you then consume 1,600 calories and your activity stays the same. You're creating a true 400 calorie deficit a day across a week times 7, a decent deficit, yeah? Reasonable.
Yeah.
What we want to do, though, on top of that is then we want to add on the weight training underneath that, which may be 350, 400 calories. So we're creating a bigger deficit.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So I've been doing a little bit of an experiment with myself at the moment. So I managed to drop just over 5 kilo in 2 weeks, which is like over £10. Now that's quite, I'm doing it as an experiment. So I'm not recommending you do what I do. So for example, me now, my maintenance calories is around 2,400 for me personally. So 2,400 is my maintenance. And I'll give you my example just for clarity. What I've been doing is 1,000 calorie deficit a day. So I've been on 1,400 calories a day. Now, that is not fun. So Miles has not been a happy boy. So 1,400 calories. What I've been doing is I've been fasting on a morning. So black coffee and water. I have my first meal at 12, and that's always 400 to 500 calories. And that's always around 40 grams of protein in that meal. So by 12 o'clock, I'm ready to strangle somebody, and then I finally get 400 to 500 calories. What I've done in the morning is I've gone an hour's walk. And there's a big hill. I live in the countryside. There's a big hill near me. That walk burns approximately 360 calories for me. That walk does. So I'm 360 calories of activity already by lunchtime. I then have my meal at lunch, 400 to 500. I then hit a weight session about 2 o'clock. So an hour and a half after I finished eating, digestion wise, I hit a weight session. Then around 5 o'clock, God, you'd think I'd plan all this, wouldn't you? About 5 o'clock, I'll have another 500, 550 calorie meal. Okay. Then after that, I do another walk. And then I'll have a protein supper of about 400 calories. So I'm kind of that, I'm doing that 1,400 calories across 3 meals. I'm doing a walk, strength, and another walk at night. So if you look at, I'm creating 1,000 calorie deficit from food alone, and then I'm adding in 2 long walks plus a weight session. That's how I lost 5.2 kilo in 2 weeks. Now that is not sustainable. Yeah,
No.
I'm not advocating that at all. I just did it as a bit of a how quick can I drop weight if I really want to? And like I said, I dropped like 11, 12 pounds in 2 weeks. And it was safe. I made sure I got my vitamins in. I was having some fish oils. I was getting my vitamin D, my magnesium in before bed. I was not deficient in anything. I was having plenty of vegetables with my meals. Fiber was high. My water intake was 3.5 liters a day. So it was healthy, but drastic calorie reduction you should not do long term. It's not a good thing. So what I did again, so week 3, I raised my calories up. So from 1,400, I averaged about 1,900 last week. Averaged. I had a couple of days where I was higher than that, and I had some days lower than that, but my average was up by 500 across last week. Because what I was trying to do was, I wasn't trying to lose weight again week 3. I was just trying to increase my calories, but steady the ship with my weight. So I increased my calories by 500 and my weight maintained the same. So now, this week, moving along, I'm going to try and maintain again around 1,900, and I'm going to try and just drop a tiny bit more this week, weight-wise. So years and years of doing this, and unless I'm managing your diets individually, it's very hard to do because when I do this kind of diet with somebody, contest prep, that kind of thing, I almost every single day I'm wanting to know what food they've had and everything. I monitor it very, very strictly. So in terms of calorie deficits, Andy, I hope that makes sense. So you create your calorie deficit from food, and then we try and layer on top of that activity as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, spot on.
So, any other questions, guys?
Can I just ask, Miles? I'm not, I haven't thrown my scales away. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
All right. I've not thrown my scales. I have thrown, well, I haven't thrown them away, but I don't get on the scales because I used to be a cardio girl. several classes a day until my daughter started bodybuilding and competing. And now she's changed my thought process into building muscle, which is important as you get older as well for all the other benefits. So I'm doing it for longevity as well as keeping fit and all that sort of stuff and looking better. So the thing is with me, when I first started lifting, I put loads of weight on and it demotivated me. So I hid the scales because I know when you're lifting, you get in the water that's collecting in with the muscle and all that. So I'm just going to go by my clothes and my measures. I've measured myself with my tape measure. And I might sort of like have a sneaky peek at the end. But I want to be able to see what I look like rather than, because I know it will for years, because in your life, scales are just like they're indoctrinated into your head, aren't they? Weight Watchers and all, it's all about clapping you on the scales and all that business. But I'm trying to not think of weight because it's a very false sense of security, isn't it? Because you might lose fat or muscle or whatever. Because I've done fasting and keto and stuff, done experiments on myself, and I know I've probably lost a lot of muscle by doing keto and long fasts and stuff, you know. But yeah, so yeah, is that, I presume that's okay, isn't it? How I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, the next training video that I'm going to be dropping in the group is on this exact topic. So I'm discussing scales, I'm discussing scale weight, and I'm going to talk about tracking performance metrics. So without going too deep into it, so a pound of muscle is basically the size of a very large strawberry. Okay.
Yeah.
If you think about the density of muscle, it's a dense tissue that uses energy. Okay. So if you get a large strawberry that's a pound of muscle, and obviously a pound of fat is a bigger object. So if you get a pound of fat and you put it aside of a pound of muscle, it occupies more space. Let's use that word. So when it comes to your clothes and how you look in a mirror naked, right? You could weigh exactly the same, but look totally different.
Yeah.
So why I encourage strength training with a high protein diet is I'm always trying to get people stronger and to build muscle, because it's massively important, because calorie dense tissue like muscle, it's like the engine in a car, as a simple analogy. If you walk around carrying a lot more muscle tissue, that walk, you will burn more calories doing that walk if you are carrying more muscle tissue.
Yeah.
If you go a jog, if you run around the block, if you walk your dog, every activity comparable, you will burn more calories doing the same activity if you are carrying more muscle on your frame. So that's why, because over time, what you have is a composition change. So fat cells shrink, muscle cells get bigger. So, but the scale may show the same weight, but if you were to look at the before and after picture, you would look totally different. So if you've got somebody who the scales can be a negative thing for them because it can demotivate them, I often have said, listen, I'll weigh you and I won't even tell you what you weigh.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get them on a scale. I'll say, don't look, I'll record your weight and I'll amend your diet if I feel it's suitable to do so. I do think keeping track of weight is a good thing because it is a score. Now, as long as you understand this fact is this, let's just say over 6 weeks, you can run further, you can squat more, you can deadlift more, you can curl more, your clothes are fitting better. And if you weigh the same on the scale, you know what's happened there is you're carrying a lot more muscle mass than you were weeks before. So the performance metrics what you can squat, what you can deadlift. Suddenly, oh, there's a notch gone in on my belt. Oh, I can get in that dress. All those metrics are probably more important than the weight on the scales.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
So what I would
Thank
say to you,
you.
Michelle, is I would say rather than weighing yourself every day or every week, I would say maybe week 2, week 4, and week 6, probably, but don't use the weight as a battering ram to
I
knock
know. Mm,
accept
yeah,
it as part of all the other metrics we've just discussed.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you your weight, let's just say your weight is 70 kilos, right? And week
Mm-hmm.
2, you are still 70 kilos, but
Mm,
you've slept better, you've had a bit more energy, your food's been on point. Oh, yes, some of my
mm,
weights have gone up in the gym. I feel better.
mm,
That scale weight isn't important at week 2. I'll guarantee
yeah.
you at week 4, 70 will be 68 or 69. Week 6, it might be 66 or 67. Sometimes scale weight is a lagging metric of the performance habits.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to cover in the training video. That if you do
Yeah.
the basics and you get the performance goals and you chase those, the scale weight over long term takes care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you start lifting heavier, getting
Yeah.
fitter, getting your calories on point, sleeping better, everything about your health will change long term.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
judge your success on scale weight at week 2, week 4, week 6.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Your success on this course is getting a handle on your nutrition, getting your sleep
Yeah.
dialed in, getting all these habits dialed in, because, like I said, they are the compound effect that long term will affect your scale weight.
Yeah.
This course is not drastic calorie reduction, kill yourself for
No.
6 weeks for a before or after. This is about education and giving you the
Mm,
tools to run with it long term.
yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Miles. Thank
No
you.
problem. Any other questions? Don't worry if you haven't. Lisa,
I
you
have got a
go
question actually,
on.
Miles. Yeah, I know. I was pausing. Actually, I'm quite happy just to hang on when everybody's gone because I seem to be way behind everybody else. I didn't know I was doing this until lunchtime last Monday, so I had no time to prep, and this week's been hopeless. So what I don't have though is my calories, and I don't have a workout in my app. So would you just run that through me once you finish this?
Right. So, well, I'll tell you while we're on this now about the calories. Right. So,
Okay.
if you go to the Six Fit Gyms, either Instagram or Facebook page,
Yeah.
and drop us a direct message, and you're gonna type in the letters WWB, which stands for which workout is best.
Okay.
What you'll do then is it'll then ask you, are you male or female? So I've set this out,
Okay.
and basically you'll go through the flow chart, male or female, what's your height, and it'll ask you questions, and it'll ask you, one of the key questions is like, do you want to gain muscle, like gain weight, or do you want to lose weight? If you put you want to lose weight, it'll give you 3 options. One is like aggressive weight loss, one is more moderate, and one is mild. I would not choose the aggressive one. Reason
Okay.
is you'll see when it churns out how much actual training you need to do for aggressive weight loss, your jaw will drop. So choose like mild or moderate, and then it'll ask you, do you want to do it via like just weights, weights and cardio, weights, cardio and classes? It gives you options. So choose the pathway you want. If you think you've put the wrong answer in, you can just go back and start it again and type WWB and just start again.
Okay. So I can see what the aggressive is then and see what it's suggesting I do.
You could do, you can do it, and then go back again and choose the mild or the moderate route.
Okay.
So yeah, go through that. Then it'll take you through your calories and it'll work all that out for you based on your answers and your height and your current activity. Then also it'll ask you, say, shall we go into like your workouts?
Mm.
And it'll work out based on what you've said you want to achieve, how much training a week you need to do.
Okay.
So it'll say, for example, if you say cardio and weights, it'll say, like, for example, 3 weights workouts plus 4 20-minute cardio sessions a week, for example.
Okay.
So
I've got a question about that.
Go on.
So I swim, so I can go swimming at lunchtime as well as using the gym in the morning. So I can use that as a cardio, really, can't I?
You can, 100%. Yeah, swimming will be your cardio. So you can add that in as your cardio sessions across the week. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's brilliant. I'll do that then. And that'll give me all the information I've got on the app.
That'll give you your information for your calories and your workouts. In terms of the app, I'll look in the app and I'll message you privately. I'll check what settings I've got you on and I'll make sure I've got you set up and right so you can see, for example, strength session 1, strength 2, strength 3. And also as well, Lisa, you'll want to pick either strength workout 1 or strength workout 2. Don't choose 3's quite an advanced workout for like people who might be like a rugby player, a footballer, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's fine.
Right, so I'll DM you privately about that and I'll make sure you set up and all sorted.
Fab. Thanks, Miles. Sorry, everyone, for having to go through that again.
That's what we're here for. That's what this is about. Anything else? Right, guys. I'll be peppering you with trainings and stuff this week in the group. Have a good week and we'll see you next week. All right?
Okay, thanks, Miles.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Good luck.
Thanks, bye.